Harry, this is Lord Potato, and this is, well, what if Asta was the son of Kaguya? Part 1, and I don't have much time, but let me explain this real fast. Yes, Asta's gonna be the son, the child of Kaguya. Who does she have a child with? Well, I'll explain that later. If you can see in the thumbnail, it's going to be someone an OC character, and a lot of things going to be kind of, not change. Mostly, what's it called? Let me just explain. Okay, let me just go into this what if, shut the fuck up. Because I cannot explain it how this is going to work, because I will give off way too many details. But other than that, let me go into this what if. So, we go into Asta. Now, Asta is in the Black Wolves. Of course, there's a festival right now about the defeat of one of the Midnight Eyes members. That beast guy. Of course, Asta's arms are still broken. Extremely broken. Like, they just turned to dust. Most of his bones because of the curse, but yeah. But of course, Asta is just there. Just kind of celebrating. And of course, Asta seems a little bit down and sad from the fact that he can never use his arms. From the doctor that, doctor that Yami kind of took him to, Asta kind of got told that he would never be able to use his arms ever again. Asta was devastated from that. This is where, Asta's smiling, somewhat fake smiling, and telling everyone that he's gonna go to sleep. This is where Finral kind of brings the conclusion of why Asta's down, and a lot of them kind of feel really sad. Even Gon, even though he loves his sister way too much. But he still feels sad, like damn. But of course, this is where Asta is sitting down the rock. Of course, Nero's like next to him. And Asta is saying, no, I'm never gonna give up. I'll kick fucking fate in the fucking face or something, but yeah. This is where, the next day happens. And of course, everyone is going on different missions. Not to like kind of get gold or anything. Just to figure out a way for Asta to kind of bring back his arms. So yeah. This is where, Nero is actually not with Asta. And of course, this is where Asta, he's just going to a rock. Of course, he's looking out into, the clear blue sky. And he can barely train. He can barely train and try to get more stronger. Try to do push-ups and all that because, he has no arms. This is where Asta sighs. He did overhear about, Noelle and even Finral's kind of like conclusion of everyone at that. Of course, this is where Asta, he feels extremely bad. He doesn't want any of them to kind of go for great lengths to kind of help him. He doesn't want to be a bother half the time. He feels extremely sad. This is where, Asta says, I will never be able to become the Wizard King. No longer. If only I was blessed with a little bit of magical power. Maybe I could have. No, I wouldn't be able. This is where something started sneaking upon him. And this is where, this creature seems to be black. Like, black and, of course, kind of detected from Asta. He can't sense it with ki, or even if he had magic, cannot be sensed with magic neither. And it seems this black molten thing is just moving towards Asta in a very slow but calm pace. This is where, that's the same. I don't even know who my parents were. I wonder if they were also just like me, or was I just cursed from the fact that I have no magical power? Why am I thinking about this now? I shouldn't give up. No, I need to get stronger. This is where, before he's even able to kind of like fully get up, something appears behind him. That's where Asta senses now, like the movements. And of course, what he sees is some kind of black creature. This black creature has yellow eyes and kind of has sharp white teeth. This is where, Asta falls down from the rock and says, ow, 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 what the hell are you? This is where the thing goes, he. He just kind of laughs. This is where, Asta says, didn't I just ask you what the hell you are? Wait, do you even speak? This is where the creature says, oh, sorry about that. I didn't really mean to scare you, brother of mine. This is where, Asta says, wait, you can speak? I really thought you were going to just go ki or something like that. This is where, or not ki, he says he or something like that. This is where, The creature says, "Oh, I'm sorry about that. I can speak. Yes, I can speak clearly. Also, I'm here to help you." He smiles at, well, Asta. Asta, on the other hand, looks confused. This is where, well, Asta kind of asks, "What the hell are you anyway?" This is where, well, the creature says, "Oh, I'm just something that was born way earlier than you from our mother. I'm just here because our mother really wanted you to kind of be awoken." Ki. This is where, well, or he and he says like both the ways, okay? This is where, well, Asta says, "Wait, awoken? What do you mean?" Asta was confused. Of course, he can't point at the creature. He's kind of just putting both of his arms up, like flinging them kind of like near his like chest, because that's where both of his arms are at. They're mostly in like, what's it called? That sleeve or whatever. But yeah, an original canon, but yeah. This is where, well, the creature says, he. Don't be foolish there, what's it called? Asta? Or should I say, little brother Asta? This is where, well, Asta says, "Huh? Wait, why do you keep calling me brother?" "Oh, you know son. I'm just came here to help you." He. This is where, well, Asta says, "Help me? But you're not even human, are you?" The creature says, "Of course I'm not human. He. But that doesn't matter if our parents are humans or not. Well, mostly my mother. I'm not really mixed with the other person. But you are." This is where, well, Asta says, "What do you mean our parents are not human?" "Oh, don't worry about that. Let me help you. You want to be able to use your arms again. I will help you. I will allow you to awaken everything you need to know." So Asta says, I don't think, well, I want everyone to stop really doing stuff for me. I want to protect everyone. They're my friends." This is where Asta thinks in his head, sure. This is where, well, the person goes up to him. This is where he, like, touches Asta on the head, or mostly puts Asta's, like, head closer to him. And this is where, well, a bright light kind of flashes. Purely white appears. This is where, well, something happens. Asta now has 10 billions, trillions of memories going into his mind. But all of these are just different attacks through fire, water, earth, and other things, even crystal and other kenkais. This is where Asta now figure out this person's name after the awakening. Asta's, well, skin is a little bit turning more palish, but then goes back to normal. This is where, well, Asta was confused. This is where, well, Asta, when he looks around, he accidentally does something to his eyes that made veins pop up in his eyes and now be able to see everywhere, like a far range of distance. This is where he even sees, well, Yami right now taking a dump. Yami's gonna right now, just in the kind of action going like that. This is where Asta's like, what is happening? Oh, ew. This is where Asta like closes his eyes, and this is where, well, his eyes goes back to normal. And of course, this is where Asta says, "Oh, why the hell did I just see Yami doing that? Ugh, never mind." This is where Asta is confused. This is where, well, Asta, he then figured out one thing. His arms, they're not hurt anymore. But of course, they're still a little bit buff and all that. They're still like more buff than normal. And of course, seems to be more reinforced. This is where he punched a tree. Because, well, original canon, well, I mean, what's it called? His original power, he did manage to punch a tree and dent it. But this one, he managed to blast the tree away, accidentally putting way too much energy into his fist. This is where Asta was confused. Huh? This is where the black creature says, ki. It seems that you finally awoken. Well, not big, little brother of mine. This is where, well, Asta says, what, what, huh? What happened? This is where, well, the creature says, let me explain. Let me explain who you are, and let me explain who I am. My name is Black Zestu. I am, well, a creation and birth from my mother. This is where, well, Asta remembers a flashback of someone so beautiful in his, like, memories. Someone so having, well, kind of, like, really pure white eyes. This is where, well, she was crying to, well, in the memories that Asta kind of remembers. Asta kind of remembers this lady crying. This is where she had some kind of like red, red eye, or mostly it was like a white eye that had red rings and kind of like dots in that eye, third eye. Of course, having horns and having like this whitish, beautiful whitish hair. Of course, having a kind of kimono being red and white. Having red nails. And of course, kind of crying. Seeing Asta. This is where, well, Asta for some reason remembered that. For some reason. This is where Asta says, who was she? This is where, well, Flax as it goes to explain more. Kiki, you might remember a mother, Kaguya Utsutsuki. This is where, well, mostly he doesn't say Utsutsuki, he just says Kaguya. This is where Asta says, who? Kaguya? Yes, mother. She's a very beautiful lady. But she's not with us right now. I'll explain later where she will be at. But not the point, Asta. You are named Asta. Yes. Asta, oh, well, come. That's where, well, Black Sister says, your name Asta O. I cannot explain your last name fully. But just know that you do have a last name. It is just O. So that will be a little explainment. I cannot explain fully in your last name. I'm sorry about that, younger brother of mine. That's where, well, Asta didn't know that he even had a last name. This is where, well, Asta was so confused. This is where, well, he's not even wearing the same robe or clothing like in what's it called, John Canyon. It changed to this white robe. He was confused. This is where, well, Asta says, what is happening? Oh, if you don't want to wear any of that, you can go back to your normal clothing. You just gotta think on how it works. That's where Asta remembers the clothing and still has the bandages, but that's where Asta can move them freely and even get out of it because his arms are healed, completely healed. That's where Asta says, you know, I'm just keeping bandages. I just want to surprise everyone. Asta thought of his head. That's where, well, Black Sister says, Kiki. Well, I'm just here to kind of give you a message. Since you now managed to get a bunch of memories that Mother wanted to give you. A bunch of memories, attacks. They're not spells, as you mentioned. You're not really, normal in this world. You are someone with still no mana, no magic. But that doesn't give you the concluded that you are not able to use other attacks. Something called chakra will be able to help you in this world now. This chakra allows you to send fire from your mouth, just like any normal, somewhat mana user. Even though mana users kind of use magic out of nowhere. You will send fire out of your mouth, water, earth, or anything you want to wish. You just have to remember the technique and name. You can use hand signs, or you can use them with just instant thought. You are someone that's very special. In other worlds, this is where Black Sister remembers the other people who need hand signs to kind of remember to do these things. He does say, but it's not very necessary for you to use hand signs. If you want to, you will need to, if you just want to train and control it. But I should mention one thing. Your chakra is not very comparable like Mother's, because Mother's has like almost an infinite amount. You on the other hand has about negative 90%, so like 10% of it. But still, it's a very huge amount. Just remember that you are able to summon out a lot of things. Just remember you have only a limit. Until you train more with your body, you will be able to, awaken more percentage of chakra. It would have worked much better if you were younger, but from this moment on, you will now be able to gain more chakra control if you train stronger in it. Oh, also with your anti-magic and the grimoire you have, you can still use it. The anti-magic sword or anything will not be able to drain your chakra. Since it's two different energy sources, it won't really need to work that much. So it won't drain your power. This is where, not the, what's it called, Black That's said. Well, he said that, but of course, this is where, Asta says, huh? Interesting. So, what about my eyes? Why did I be able to see everything clearly? This is where Black says, you might unlock the Byakugan so fast. Even though it shows you only have green eyes right now, you might be able to unlock the other not the other jutsus. The other dojutsus that are special for mothers. Unlocking the Byakugan was very special. How far could you see? That's where Asta is pretty damn far from the, what's it called, Black Bull hideout. And that's where Asta says, about all the way to see the hideout of the Black Bull. That's where, well, Black Senzu widens his eyes and says, you're amazing. Already able to see that far with the Byakugan? Heh, I knew you were so talented. Mother VA was always telling about the little stories when she can see you. Glimpses of seeing you. And wishing she was with you. Wishing you were with her instead. This is where, well, Asta said, but I want to ask you, where is she anyway? This is where, well, Black Sister says, I can't really tell you the location or can't tell you yet. You are still not powerful enough. And you need to be much more powerful. This is where, well, Asta says, is that so? This is where the grimoire decides to change into a color real fast. This is where something appears. Right next to, well, Asta, behind Asta. This creature being some kind of bluish creature with some kind of blue armor around him. Well, mostly looking black. This is where he also have bluish flames on him. This is where Black Sister says, K. You must be from him side. From, well, Kaguya's, how should I say, husband. That's where the creature says, Phew. Yes, I am from him. I will not be able to say his name or say Asta's middle name. But that is not the point. I'm here to see the grimoire. That's where Asta says, what? Black Sister says, it's okay. Let him see the grimoire. That's where, well, the grimoire, he shows it towards the creature. This is where the creature touches it. And this is where the grimoire changes. From this kind of just reddish color to straight up this kind of like being halfly bluish color. Like being bluish color. But of course the clovers, instead of having like 5, it's 6 in total. But of course 3 of them is white and the other 3 is black. So let me show you what kind of somewhat. This is what the grimoire kind of changed to be a little bit. So of course like 3 of these are kind of like white and the other 3 are kind of black. But yeah. So where the creature says, now there's your evolution of your grimoire, an evolved version. And still, you will still have your anti-magic, but you will also have a third, well, not third, second magic ability, flame magic. But this flame magic will not be normal. It will be somewhat for control of your newest magic, blue flames. Don't worry, it will be something similar to your anti-magic. It will not consume any mana because you have 0 mana. It will consume your anti-magic instead, where you're mostly, since you have 0 mana, it will come from a different world entirely. Mostly, I am your summoner, and I will, well yes, I am your summoner, and I will protect you with my life, just like Black Setsu here will also protect you. Smaller, younger brother of mine. This is where, well, Asta was confused. This is where Asta said, can I know your name? I apologize. My name is, well, yes, I should explain my name. My name is Oi. This is where Asta says, blue? This is where he nods. This is where, well, Asta says, well, that's good to know. So, am I going to be able to use the blue flames with my hands, or can I use it through my whole body, even through my mouth? This is where Oi nodded, saying you can do anything with your blue flames. They are called anti-blue flames. Well, somewhat. Mostly darkish crimson, darkish bluish flames. Just don't get the. Well, you can also use it with your anti-swords, so don't worry about it. That's where, well, the creature decides to say, but I will always be with your grimoire, and in any case, anyone dares to try to cover up your grimoire and kind of encage it, it will be burnt in an instant. I will be the person to be summoned pretty easily. You do not need to summon me anytime with your will. I will have a will by my own, to be summoned by force by myself, and be able to destroy anyone that's trying to take your grimoire. This is where, well, Asta says, what about you, Black Zetsu? KKKKK. Well, I will be with you, always. I will not be in the grimoire. I will be somewhere in your kind of clothing or just around you. Don't worry. I will just, well, since I am going to be outside most of the time and not being in your grimoire, I will be here just helping you. KKKKK. And so what, well, Asta nodded and says, okay, then that's settled. And so where, well, Asta smiles, and this is where the two creatures kind of notice someone's coming, and this is where they both kind of just went into where their places. This is where Asta says, oh, that's where Nero appears. And Nero, the reason why Nero wasn't actually kind of coming closer was something attacking it. This is where, well, a white greenish Zetsu lookalike that was attacking it. Nero managed to dodge and like move away, and this is where the white Zetsu kind of disappeared after a while. This is where, well, the white Zetsu, who is now just going back to a hidey hole because it was just needed to distract Nero. This is where, well, Asta, who is right now kind of still feeling excited in his bones and really wants to surprise everyone. He wants to surprise everyone that he managed to heal by himself. Yeah. This is where, well, before Asta was wanting to think that he wants to tell them about his new discovery, Black Zetsu, who was kind of in Asta's jacket, says, please don't tell them anything about your new founding power. That will kind of upstart some people and question you. And then they will try to outcast you. This is where Asta says, wait, would they? Well, this is where Black Zetsu says, I don't know. Humans are kind of somewhat foul, a little bit. Some of them are. I don't know much. KKK, please. Just don't tell them anything about this. This is where Asta nodded. This is where, well, Asta kind of just saw Nero, and Nero kind of landed on his head and pecked him once. This is where Asta says, ow. This is where Nero did not sense, well, Black Zetsu. This is where Black Zetsu is right now on Asta's body and trying to hide, mostly in his jacket. Yes, Asta is kind of wearing like a long sleeve, but yeah. This is where, well, somewhat long sleeve, mostly like in his, what's it called, like pocket. So yeah, he's hiding in that pocket. This is where, well, not near the grimoire exactly, there's another pocket with gold and all that. He managed to just squeeze in there, mostly. This is where, well, a couple like more hours come back, and this is where, well, not come back, like pass, and this is where Asta, he goes to Yami to actually wanting to inform him about, well, his arms being back. This is where, well, Asta's going there, and this is where, well, before he even gets there, he sees, well, Noelle, Finro, a girl with orange hair named Donna, or Koda, or whatever her name is most of the time, or Koda, or whatever, and of course, a red-haired guy named, what's his name again? Cougar? His name was Cougar, yeah. And of course, or Zenon, or Zan, or something like that. I think it was Cougar or something. Cougar or something like that. And of course, a girl with black hair, and of course, kind of like reddish a little bit eyes. Her name was Mariella, and of course, they kind of see Asta, and Asta saying, hey guys, so what are you guys doing? And so where, well, they were kind of like looking at each other and saying, we're going to a place named W Land. That's where Asta kind of says, oh, does it stand for Wonderful Land? I hope it does stand. This is where they say, yeah, they all sweat drops. This is where Asta says, cool. This is where, well, they get to the W Land, and of course they have to cloak each other, and this is where Asta's so confused. This is where Asta realized one thing. This is not something called Wonderful Land. This is mostly called Hellish Land because they're getting attacked by multiple things, and Finro just keeps kind of like trying to get multiple ladies onto his side or whatever. This is where Asta had enough of this and kicks Finro because, well, Finro is pissing him off so much. And of course, Asta wouldn't usually do this, but with his kind of Utsutsuki genes kind of appearing and kind of some other genes kind of appearing also, he kind of got angry and kicked the shit out of Finro. This is where Finro says, ow, what the hell, Asta? Hurry up and get the fuck out of here, Asta said. This is where, well, Finro says, yeah, I got it. This is where they're running, or mostly flying. And of course, this is where, well, a magical kind of blast, like poof, like making a smoke screen with powerful magic, so the creatures will be kind of blinded, but yeah. This is where, well, Asta and the others, the other kind of females that are on the other group, rushes towards the Queen of the Witches palace or whatever. And of course, they manage to get there and land there. And of course, they see, well, Vanessa down on the ground. And the Queen of, well, Witches just on top of her. Saying, you disgusting. She says, you disgusted. Weakling girl. If only you were with me, you would have been perfect. Asta, who's seeing this, says, Vanessa! That's where, well, Asta's anger is kind of bubbling up. His anger's kind of been boiling with him. Because he doesn't want anyone to do stupid things like for him much. He'll protect him, but he doesn't want anyone else to kind of protect him. And so where, well, Asta rushes out, well, the Queen of, not the Queen of Pirates, the Queen of Witches. And of course, Asta tries to hit her, like the same as her own cannon. But of course, Asta doesn't manage to. This is where, well, Vanessa, who wakes up after a while, and this is where Asta, who is right now next to, well, the others, and this is where the Queen of, well, Witches kind of look up to see what is happening outside. We're mostly kind of seeing the midnight, what's it called? Yeah, the midnight people are actually attacking, and the girl that is considered hatred, pink hair girl, with the salamander is attacking. And this is where the Diamond Kingdom is attacking. And this is where Vanessa is kind of arguing with Asta, and Asta just had enough of this. This is where he rips off his bandages and saying, see, I'm healed already. This is where everyone is confused, saying, the fuck do you mean heal? Asta say, shit, right, I should have. This is where the Queen of, well, Witches kind of was confused. If this kid was managed to heal the Hexic spell, ancient Hexic spell, without any mana, was confusing to her. And so where, well, Asta says, but we're healed. But still, I won't let anyone down. I don't care if it's witches that I gotta save. I will protect everyone, even you, Vanessa. You're my friend. I don't care about your whatever you were trying to do, okay? This is where Vanessa was shocked, but this is where, well, Vanessa and even Fenrir attacks Asta, and of course saying, why didn't you say anything about you were here already? This is where Fenrir was confused, saying, wait, what? Didn't the magic, the best magic person healer, didn't he say that he couldn't heal you? Asta says, what do you mean? You must have overheard things. He said in a couple of days it would heal. This is where, well, Fenrir is kind of suspicious. Even Vanessa and even everyone else. This is where the Queen of Witches is confused. This is where she uses her own magical power to kind of see into Asta's future. What she sees is nothing but a pure black. Just pure black. Like, she can't see clarity, but sees something that kind of scares her. This unmagical power just flowing around Asta somewhere. But of course, everything being kind of black and white at the same time. As it were, well, Asta, who seems to say, but anything is, I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine. As it were, well, the Queen of Witches says, you might be perfectly fine from healing your body, but since you are willing to help, I will reinforce your body. This is where she still kind of reinforced Asta's body. This is where Asta's body was already reinforced the fact that he awoken something that Black Zetsu kind of awoken him. Mostly his, well, not new, his Utsusuki blood. And this is where, well, Asta was already now very durable. Well, durable. Of course, when Fenrir and Vanessa were punching him before the reinforced magic, their fist was kind of hurting. Now, of course, Asta's more reinforced. This is where Asta says, but whatever, let's attack! This is where, well, Cougar says, I guess so. I'll take the diamond, well, me, Merchant, well, let me second. This is where Cougar says, me, what's it called, Mariella, and even Donna will go after the diamond mages. You guys can go after the midnight mages, right? Asta says, yeah! This is where, well, they all start attacking, well, each kind of group. This is where Asta is kind of fighting against the, well, midnight eye kind of mages. This is where Asta is kind of defeating them. This is where Asta is actually flying on a little bit. This is where Asta hasn't been able to control his powers. His newfound powers. This is where Black Zetsu kind of has a flashback. A flashback of when he was told. This is where, well, Asta's grimoire is also a little bit more different color. Instead of being this crimson red kind of glowing around it, it's having this crimson, well, not crimson, this dark blue kind of glowing around it. This is where, well, Fenrir and even Vanessa were confused about his grimoire. instead of having, well, a 5-leaf grimoire, because even though they couldn't see it much, it turned into a 6 grimoire. Like, let me say that, a 6-leaf grimoire. They are confused, but they don't question it right now, in the middle of battle. But yeah, it's where, well, Asta's right now defeating some of the mages, but yeah. But Black Zetsu, we go back into him having a flashback. Him having a flashback of when Asta was born. Asta was kind of a little bit just a small baby, but of course he had pale white skin, well, not pale white skin, a lot like palish skin, but also having some black spots around. Somewhat, not really black spots, mostly being kind of palish white skin. Of course, is where he shows his eyes to be kind of the pale white Byakugan for being a baby still, and having horns. This is where he had whitish hair, just like his mother, and actually having a little bit of black spots, like his father. This is where, well, Black Zetsu was seeing this, and of course Kaguya was so happy to be holding, well, Asta in her hands. This is where, well, the other being kind of just, like, not growl, was kind of just not really looking at Asta that much, and Black Zetsu can actually see that. But even though he wasn't looking much at him, he was still thinking about Asta. This is where, well, Kaguya was so happy. This is where the being says, we cannot keep him here. In this dimension, I don't really want him to be a spoiled little brat, he said. Kaguya was outraged and says, what? You want to send him to the human world? What is this crazy nonsense? He is a god among us. Well, you and I. He's basically a mixture between us. And you want to send him to the human world? Without any mana? Or whatever the hell they're called? Mana, magic, don't care? Without any chakra? This is where the other creature or being kind of said yes. I want him to learn the hardship about the different things of the god of fate or whatever bullshit, the strings of fate. This is where, well, Kaguya was outraged, but of course, this is where, well, she couldn't really deny this. She didn't want Asta to kind of grow up to be spoiled a little bit, but she didn't want Asta to kind of get hurt. And so where after that flashback happened, we go into another flashback that Black Zetsu kind of remembers. Seeing Kaguya outraged, her power is going berserk when Asta was getting hurt from that beast guy. That beast guy that was pissing off Kaguya so much that the dimension right around her was crackling with power. This is where Black Zetsu was the most scared when he was seeing this. This is where, well, he was also pretty damn angry and wished he would get through the what's called dimension. So of course this is where, well, after seeing what's called Kaguya kind of being enraged, this is where the other being tries to calm her down. This is where the being was kind of covering blue flames a little bit, and seems to have also berserk into bluish flames and purplish that Black Zetsu can remember. This is where, well, Black Zetsu was pretty damn angry. But this is where he then goes into another flashback. Another flashback that his mother told him to do. When the dimension was kind of weakening enough, and while the other being wasn't looking after Kaguya, Kaguya was going to send Black Zetsu to this world to kind of meet Asta, which that could plan out pretty well. But the mission that was told by Black Zetsu is to protect Asta with everything he has, not let Asta get hurt or anything. As where, well, Black Zetsu nodded. The other being, the reason why he wasn't looking at Black Zetsu much was to send his own, well, defined creature, or kind of child towards Asta to be kind of take care of. Not to awaken him, mostly to take care of him. But Kaguya wanted to awaken him to kind of be Otsutsuki. Not fully Otsutsuki, but just Otsutsuki enough. And so where, well, Asta, who was right now just fighting against the Midnight Eye and also managed to defeat them with kind of using his anti-magic source. This is where we go back into Black Zetsu. Black Zetsu is kind of just remembering those stuff. This is where seeing Asta kind of just bounce off some people, and instead of using his flying magic, or not flying magic, flying, what's it called, chakra, because he can fly because of him being Otsutsuki, well, awakening to Otsutsuki mostly. This is where, well, Asta kind of sees what they call the salamander girl, and of course tries to fight her. This is where, well, Asta's trying to fight her. Of course, this is where, well, Noelle appears sending a water dragon. Also still smashing through it, and of course, this is where, well, Asta was just saying, I won't give up. Well, he didn't smash through it yet. No. Asta did manage to land upon her, and this is where she was instantly angry and saying, you humans do not know anything about what's it called, the hatred. You all just hurt us. You bastards. I only know Lich and other people. This is where, Asta was confused, and this is where she sent what's it called, fire magic at Asta. This is where Asta, who was about to get hit, for some reason thought of this move in his head. Water style. Water stream. This is where Asta sent a powerful water stream out of his mouth. This is where, when the girl that was about to send fire magic at him, because he was on the salamander, this is where Asta sends it and jumps off the salamander also. This is where Asta kind of lands with, the other. To manage to land on Finral's broom. This is where all of them were shocked. Even the girl with the salamander, she was confused. Mostly more confused when the well also got there. Because, Asta just used a water magic. Or not even water magic. Just sent water out of his mouth. Asta, for some reason, thought of the technique. This is where Blacksis is right now looking at the battle style of how Asta's doing. Seeing that Asta already remembered one of the techniques. That he was kind of getting woken with a bunch of memories. This is where, Asta, for some reason, just uses that. And this is where he was confused. This is where all of them were even more confused. But Asta then thought of the Utsutsuki genes. Utsutsuki reawoken. Or not reawoken, awoken. Utsutsuki gene, chakra style. Water stream. This is where, Asta was confused. But of course, this is where Asta didn't care. This is where he realized there's water around him. And for some reason, he thought of something else in his head. This is where Noelle was about to do, the water, dragon sea serpent or whatever. And this is where Asta then says, water dragons. This is where water dragons appear from the dome. Asta, who was going through hand signs, was so confused. But this is where Asta did it, and of course, this is where multiple water dragons appear, hitting, the fire dragon. This is where, mostly the fire salamander. This is where the girl was screaming in confusion and anger, saying, how can an insolent fool like you, who is hated by mana, be just using techniques who aren't even made with mana? She didn't realize something. This is where all of them realized something also. Asta's not using mana, but Asta seems not to be depleted, even though he used a couple of very strong jutsus. Asta is right now was confused. This is where Asta gets attacked by the fire salamander. Of course, this is where the girl is mostly attacking Asta, and Asta is trying to dodge, and Asta is using his anti-magic sword to kind of cut through it. This is where Asta thought of another move, lightning style, lightning murder. This is where Asta, he goes through hand signs to take the lightning style, lightning murder. This is where he sent a very powerful shockwave. This is where it was mostly lightning through his hands, through the salamander. This is where it went through the salamander and hit the girl. This is where the girl gets shot. This is where, Noelle managed to do the sea dragon. Of course, this is where it just cut through the salamander. And of course, the girl said, no. Of course, this is where, before the salamander was fully cut into, he was already bigger enough because she did kind of use the third eye. Of course, this is where Asta sees her kind of falling down. She's saying, no, you bastards. This is where we go into Cougar and the others kind of fighting against the diamond mages, but yeah. Of course, this is where, I need to end it off here because, But other than that, I gotta go, but have a nice potato day, potato night, potato, and yeah. Good night and potato. Bye-bye.